Fusil, iconic.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the show. It's great to be back. He can barely contain his laughter, his mirth, his joy. We've got Big Willie, Will Klein, back in the hot seat by popular demand. Thanks for coming back, Will. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate, of course, always these conversations we have, but it's nice to know that people find our conversations entertaining to some degree, just because they're just so enjoyable for us too, I know. So it's
Yeah,
it's nice to be
man.
able.
Not everybody knows, but this is how the pod started. It started on the lunch break, Zoom. Watching Yalta, watching whatever, watching the latest edit, watching John's vid. I think we watched the original John's vid, or maybe the second
Yeah,
Johnny's vid,
yeah.
on Zoom on a lunch break. So that's how this show really. That was the nexus. That was where Fusili was really incubated. Was during those chats. So obviously, you're an important integral part of the
Well,
Fusili verse.
I appreciate that, and I haven't been on social media now for several years, so it makes having your program and your channel and my involvement limitedly to, as much as I'm involved to some degree, it keeps me plugged into the skate scene and keeps me motivated to keep skating, and I hope it does the same for you too, and
Yeah,
anybody else,
man.
Mark.
Yeah, you're not missing much by not being on social media, so to speak. But yeah, Fusili will keep you tapped in for sure. All you need to do.
Especially when you're pulling guys like Brad Cromer, man. That last
Oh,
episode was so
thanks, dude.
cool.
Yeah, thank you. No, the Brad sode was good. Thanks again, Brad, for coming on. And yeah, and so basically, I had this idea a little while ago about best skate teams, and it kind of comes from. Did you ever watch Jeff Grosso, his web show that he did for Vans, the Love Letters to Skateboarding? You ever see that?
Love letters, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like sparingly. I didn't, not enough as I probably should have.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. I watched a lot of it. But there's one that always stuck with me where he goes around asking all these like OG legends what was their favorite skate team, what was the best skate team kind of that they looked up to when they were growing up, and it's a funny episode because it's these guys from the 80s mostly talking about guys in the 70s, and like for example, I remember Chris Miller says like Pepsi had the best skate team,
Yes.
because Pepsi was early, in skate marketing in the 70s. So
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of funny, and I was like, who's the Pepsi of today? And I think there's a lot there. I think there's a lot of ways to take it. Obviously, we've got board brands here today. Even though that's not where the money is flowing through, I think still like the board brand is the most sort of identity heavy.
Yeah.
So I got together as many board brands as I could come up with that people know about. And we're not going to go into, your homie's cousin's brand out of Des Moines. We just can't do that. We'd be here all day. But we're going for,
Right.
the mainstream distributed brands that exist in 2025.
Absolutely, man. I think, and there's some on here that I'm like don't even know. So I'm looking forward to getting to those. But at least I hear what you're saying in terms of like I feel like when we grew up watching skate media, it's always about like the 80s 90s guys talking about the same folks and the same teams, and I think our generation now is getting to a point where there's enough. I don't know. I think things get better with time and age better with time, I think too, especially when they aren't totally blown out or go totally corporate. If like a company existed even if it's no longer around, but it had an amazing team and amazing videos when it was out, I still like you're saying, it's relevant and cracked. I'd probably put them in something like that, even though they're irrelevant and no longer around. I guess that would be an irrelevant and cracked,
Well,
but
yeah, no,
their impact might have on the skate industry as a whole might have some kind of impact.
yeah, and by the way, these axes are completely arbitrary, and I think it's easier than doing like a straight tier list and saying, okay, this guy's better than that guy. I like to have two dimensions to kind of rank people and place people or teams, whatever. So relevant, irrelevant. That's kind of like popularity, branding, and then the whack to cracked. And it's not even like cracked as in good at skating. It's just like how well the team works as a team. Like
I see.
there's
I
teams
see.
there's teams with tons of guys who are cracked at skate. Everyone's cracked at skating, right? It's 2025, right? It's
Right.
pretty much everybody's good, or I mean, not as good
Right.
as they were in '08. But that's
Right.
that's the other thing is like you were saying. This is an exercise where you could go back and say, okay, well, what were the best skate teams of 2013, or what were the best skate
Right.
teams of 1998? And so
Right.
this could be an endless well of content for Fusili. Thank God. Just
But
kidding.
it's also a stamp on history of somebody making content in this way for others to come back to 10, 15 years from now and looking at the board companies that may or may no longer be around anymore.
Exactly. This is a time capsule. This
Yeah, that's what the time
this
capsule's
is
about.
exactly. This is a very like in this moment. What is hot? Who's hot? Who's not? Let's get into it.
I like it. For anybody watching, this is my first time seeing any of this. That I haven't been like, Will hasn't given me information onto what this episode is or what teams he's putting on here. So this is my genuine first reaction.
Yeah, I just sort of dropped this on him. This is what I was able to come up with. I'm sure you're going to say, oh, what about this? What about that? But I think this is a pretty good catch of everything that's out right now, everything that you could encounter maybe in a local skateboard emporium. So let's start top left, hockey skateboards. Hockey skateboards. What do you think about hockey, Will? Well, they're pretty relevant, I would say.
I like everything about hockey. I think they're relevant and cracked. I think all their team is like core guys. I think like basing the team around or what was Donovan, he's no longer with them, but John Fitzgerald and like the new kind of crew they're adding on. What was that the new kid's name they just put on the video? What was his
Cruz
name?
Mossberg.
Cruz Mossberg.
Yeah.
I think they put out more stuff than fucking awesome, so I think that they're more relevant in that regard. Um,
Yes, I would agree. I would say hockey is definitely more relevant than FA now, especially 2025. They've been hot for 10-ish years. Right, there have been some little fissures, some guys have left, but it's mostly still like the same core brand identity. Did you watch the hockey video that came out earlier this year?
I did, and like I don't know, like some of the parts were really good, and some of the parts I didn't think were very good at all. And I thought the placement of people's parts, and I'm not going to say names because I don't like have anybody get bummed out, but I just thought that some people should have had enders and openers where others didn't. I thought that the placement of some people's parts could have been worked around, and the video would have made a little bit more sense. But I think that like Diego and that new Cruz kid are killer. I think Diego could make a 2025 Skater of the Year run if he wanted to. He's putting out so much good stuff.
I agree.
And he's a local.
Diego is a lot of the heat, I think, with hockey. Diego's the heart and soul of hockey right now. I'm also a big Ben K fan.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, your assessment of the Hockey 4 video that came out earlier this year. I think they could have shuffled the deck a little bit and had the finished product be a little bit more, I don't know, palatable. But still, I think it would be remiss to say hockey's anything but in this upper right quadrant in
Right.
2025. And
Right.
we'll figure out kind of where stuff needs to go, but I'd say, we could put them pretty squarely in here. As we get into it, we'll have to move stuff around so it fits on on the board.
And I've
But
always liked their like art direction. I think the end like everyone was like kind of copying Bill for a long time, and then I think Benny's style of doing things is now penetrated the mainstream in terms of like board graphics and filming style and editing style. But I think that at least from the inception of their brand, I've always thought that it's been consistent and like unlike a lot of other brands, like clothing wise, the stuff they put out and their like the way that they market themselves is like it's like stuff that I would actually wear, not just like you know a blank a deluxe shirt or something like that.
yeah, yeah, I don't want to get too bogged down in clothing, but it is important. Like I know what you're saying, like some of these brands,
Overall brand, I guess you're
some
saying,
of
yeah.
these brands more than others are have a lot more going on with clothing, with soft goods, and others are just purely,
I'll
and
keep
cut
it
and
on
sew.
the
No,
skateboard
but
side.
I think in certain circumstances it is important to touch on the clothing aspect because the branding aspect is a big part of this as well.
Right. I
And
mean, that's what you could leading into like if we're going to FA next, I think that like their clothing being sold in like big box stores is part of the reason why like it's having a negative impact on their, actual skate image. And again, I think it could you could see it as going hand in hand with the skaters they just picked up, but I think that it all kind of happening around the same time makes it sting a little bit more for those who like actually liked FA as just a skate company.
yeah, and I think they sort of shot themselves in the foot with the rebuild because it was just so off base from what it originally was. You start out, it's kind of these like hip New York streetwise kids, and then they all sort of leave, and now it's Mr. Clean, Louis Lopez, and then Curran and Jake, and it's just kind of like dudes who are cracked at skating, but they're flying under this banner of FA, which used to stand for something, and now I feel like it's something completely different. And Burl,
Right,
is still on there. So it's just
right.
it's kind of a weird look where, I think those guys could be on a much more sort of kind of, I don't know, mainstream, less edgy kind of brand. It's just they're not edgy guys. They're just kind of like
No, no.
beachy SoCal cracked at skating guys. So I think,
Right.
you know, FA has definitely fallen in relevancy.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that they would fall in that irrelevant and cracked section because
yeah,
they're still really good at skating, and I think, but
yeah,
I do agree that like the addition of those three guys, as good as they are, like I almost forgot about Burley. Like I feel like it dilutes the team so heavily that I couldn't even tell you who the other guys are on FA right now, aside from those guys.
yeah. I think like Aiden Mackey is still
Oh,
technically
that's
on
right.
FA, but yeah, it's just and they added this young bull, Romel Torres. You'll be seeing a little bit more of him. He's very talented. He's got I would say a little bit of that FA traditional FA spirit to him, but he's also kind of like a Louis clone. But he's to take nothing away from his skating, he's really good. And I mean, of course,
Right.
Louis is one of the all-time greats at skateboarding. So I think that's good placement. Let's talk about Limousine. What do you got?
I've liked every member of their team since they were on different teams and now they're on the same team. I think it's awesome. A lot of, I being in Ventura, you see a lot of these guys around too. They're all really cool. Every person I've met on Limo has been a really nice guy. Um, and I think it's cool that they like put on for Ventura and like they're putting out a lot of content too. Like
Yeah,
they're not like hoarding footage and then dropping these full lengths. I personally think that like the shorter form video is better, but it's just like every time they go on a trip, they put out a video. I
yeah,
think it's like my favorite skaters all on one team going on fun trips and like getting me hyped to do the same thing with my friends. It's kind of like what got me into skating in the first place.
yeah. Totally. The vibes are great.
it
Yeah.
just has a homegrown feel, even down to like their music choice when they use Jenny's like songs and stuff in his videos. It's like they stick out so much, and I could remember each of those videos individually because of not only the skating, but like the songs that were playing in them, or like now that they're doing like these collabs with Nike and stuff. It's cool because it was like a homegrown team that kind of like came from, the ashes of some other teams that fell apart.
Yeah.
But it always seemed like it would be sick if all these guys were on the same team again, plus like the hammers that they now have too, so it's like almost that Johnny Wilson crew just on a team now.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I completely agree. Yeah, good vibes and obvious like a team that shows that it's obviously a homie crew where it works on a commercial basis, right? And that's like the thing that everybody wants, everybody yearns for. I feel like in the skate industry is that authentic homies out on the sesh, having fun crew that really comes through. They put, like you said, they put out a lot of footage. They really came out swinging, and I think established themselves super well. And now I think they're
Right.
in a little bit of a maybe a slower cadence with putting stuff out. But I think the stuff that's coming is more thoughtful.
A lot of the guys ride for Stussy too, so I feel like a lot of that whatever guys are putting out footage for like those Stussy uh, videos too, like those short form Stussy videos. Which I mean, that's like again, that's clothing, that's not related, but like it. I feel like maybe that has something to do with maybe why there's not as much footage coming out.
Oh, okay, yeah, Stussy video coming
But I
maybe.
guess
Yeah,
but I guess only Hugo is on, or I guess Aaron's on
and
Stussy
Aaron.
too.
Yeah, but they're kind like you said, they're kind of tapped into that sort of. There's that Ventura kernel, but that's like the Ventura New York and almost
Right.
like the Frog kind of.
Right, I know, because Gabe's like always with them, but I've always thought Gabe could be a cool fit on Limo too. But
Yeah, yeah. There's the Stussy connection. And they said in the Blondie Bunt interview, I'm sure everybody's heard now. They said that it was like almost a sure deal that Gabbers was gonna go on Limousine, which would be a
oh damn, that
super
would be
cool
cool.
addition. But I think the Thames thing. By the way, Thames is not on here. Thames is not really a skateboard company,
Right,
but Gabbers is sick. Would have been a sick fit on Limousine, but I think still, regardless, Limo is one of the hottest things out right now.
right.
The team gels super well. Amazing skateboarders. But again, like this whack to cracked thing, don't get bogged down in like what's
Yeah,
not cracked at skating necessarily, but cracked as a team. And I think Limo is
right.
like
And in
pretty
terms
high
of
up.
like balance of their like team, I feel like there's a lot of teams that are like they have really good skaters that are always like the forefront of their videos, and there's the other guys that are on the team, and everybody kind of has the same style or style of skating or style of dressing that kind of makes up the makeup of the team overall. Where I think Limousine, everybody has like cool and unique style, not only like skating but clothing wise. And I think it just you remember everyone skating more distinctly that way, I think. And I think they're one of few teams out right now that's doing that, and is or their new riders aren't just like posturing to fit into the way that the team is, has traditionally been perceived.
True. It's authentically eclectic.
Yeah.
It's not just a bunch of ledge lords. It's not just a bunch of rail chompers. There's a little something for everybody. It's got a very distinctly New York hipster-ish flavor to it, but we love that. It's Facile Grind. What do you think this is? Um,
Yes.
okay, Violet. Violet. What do you think about Violet? I'm interested to hear your
I
take.
think I think it's relevant and whack.
I agree. I agree. And I think everybody probably more or less agrees with that. Um,
But it could also be I say that with a grain of salt, because if I was 18, or I would had just moved to New York when Violet was coming out, I might think completely differently. I'm in my 30s now, and I look at Violet like, I don't know, it's like the new young kids who are like the bad boys of the industry, or at least that's how they're being
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. I see what you're saying. That's what Bill Strobeck wishes Violet was.
Yes,
Um,
exactly,
but I
exactly.
think in practice it's not coming across that way. I think in practice
No,
it's yeah, they have great skaters. Troy,
like I'm
Cater.
never gonna throw shade at Troy. I think he's like sick, and have only heard like good things about him as like a individual.
Yeah,
But I don't know anybody else know anybody else on that team. Nor do I really like Cater. I like his skating, but I thought it would have been cooler for him to stay on Baker, honestly. But
I completely agree.
let's
If
see.
Cater would have been way better as a Baker lifer. Violet, I think, had a lot of promise back in when it was announced. Like I want to say like 2022, 2023.
Mhm.
Troy, Mike Ward is really good too.
Yeah.
They had that Philly energy. I just think it's kind of stagnant.
Hmm.
Maybe they're working on a full length or something, but it just kind of seems like the new age FA, collect a check, hang out, wear Supreme. It allows for a little bit too much Paris fashion weeking and maybe not enough shredding. So
I can never really tell. I mean, I know Strobeck's the primary filmer for Supreme, but I can never really tell if a Violet video is a true Violet video or if it's like an ad for Supreme.
totally, it's a sounding horn for Supreme. It's kind of a Supreme house brand.
Right.
It's like the Kirkland skate brand of Supreme. If Supreme is Costco, you go to Supreme, you get your Violet peace sign board, and you're out.
Yeah, exactly. Or you ride right by the new Fly Tech board on the wall.
Yeah, I like. I mean,
I liked it too. I know he's not on here, but I thought that his part was sick.
yeah. I think Versace on Supreme, perfect fit, perfect fit.
Exactly, exactly.
Match made in heaven. So, um, all right, weekend skateboards. What do you think? What do you got?
I I was a big fan of when Weekend first came out. Like I really liked their early videos, and then like all that stuff with Johan happened, and it kind of like put a sour taste in my mouth. As I think it did for a lot of people. Uh, and I think though that Grant's rebuild of the team has been really good. Um, I like the current team. I forget who's the guy who skates like switch and regular like it's nothing.
Tanner Brzezinski.
He's really good. I
Yeah,
really like his skating. The guy who what's his name? He's kind of got like 80 90s swag with like the flare pants. What's his name?
Nikolai.
Nikolai. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
him. I like his skating. Um, but yeah, I thought Weekend seemed to be like what Limousine is kind of now. It was like that group of friends, guys that were all on that team and making edits and videos together, and they were pretty entertaining to watch. And they were doing something that was like original and different in the industry, or not super original. I guess skits and stuff were, they were doing that in old skate teams too. But it was definitely refreshing when it was coming out. But I don't know. I think that they're like less relevant than they were before, I think. But I don't know. Is Karsten Kleppen still on Weekend?
yeah. They still have kind of their little. They still have their little Scandinavian contingency. Karsten, Philip Almqvist,
Uh,
Sarah Merle. It's interesting. And something I should have brought up at the beginning was like you have to consider where these brands are in their lifespan. Right? Like most of these brands,
correct. True.
on the list have been around. Rather, you have to consider like the stage of life that they're in. Like it's like I think about it in an economic term. There's like you have your frontier brands. These are the brand new sort of startups. Will they take? Will they not? And then you have your sort of emerging brands. I'd say like you could say Limo is kind of like an emerging brand.
Right.
And then you have your more maturing brands that have been around for a while. So you have to think about that context. Weekend, I think, like you said, is not what it was when it was at that frontier stage. It's almost it's been around I think 10 years now. So it's kind of in the skate industry that's maturing, coming up on being a mature brand, and I think the way that it's been handled has been really good. And like you said, I think there's still some of that authentic magic there that was able to carry over to this new generation. So I think that's a big testament to Grant and his work. So yeah, shout out Weekend. I think Weekend is still hot, still relevant, still
And I like
still
their I
cool.
like their board graphics when I've always liked that Weekend logo.
Yeah, branding wise, solid. Branding wise, solid. I've never seen a Weekend graphic where I was like blown away by it, I guess,
Right.
but nothing abhorrent either. So
Right.
can't complain. Okay.
They would you consider Polar mature at this point?
Yes, I would. I would say Polar is mature, and maybe it's even heading for greener pastures at this point. I mean, Polar, I would say was at its maximum 5 years ago
Mm-hmm.
when they still had Yalta, when they still had, I don't know.
Villa.
I mean, yeah,
I think they still have Villa if they turned him pro years earlier.
yeah. I think a lot of it. I think a lot of the issues are Pontus' ego and kind of the way that he is around the brand. I've heard recently that Oski and David Stenstrom are both leaving or are in the process of leaving or have left.
Really?
Yes, that's some insidery. Only gifted hater stream watchers will know that.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think a lot of that, like I said, I think a lot of that stems from. I think a lot of that stems from Pontus's sort of megalomaniacal ways of running the brand. I still think that they're good. I don't think that they're whack as a
No.
team, as a brand, and certainly like the contributions to on the clothing side, cannot be overlooked. I still love Shin.
Yes.
I like Roman Gonzalez. I don't think there's really anywhere else for him to go. Maybe
What's
Sauer.
Jamie? What's his name?
Jamie Platt. Jamie
He's
Platt,
good.
good. They got the Dylan Mills on there, so they have some guys still, but they are definitely they're kind of on a not so great trajectory right now, I would say. So I'm gonna put them. I'm
Yeah.
gonna put them down here by FA. I think they kind of deserve one
Agreed.
another in
Agreed.
2025.
And they also had like a wave of like riders coming like that you thought might be on their team for a while. Like when Andrew Wilson was in that Polar video, like I thought that was like a sick fit, and then he like wasn't on the team really. I didn't see him in anything else after that video,
Yeah,
which I feel like maybe that's a reflection as to what you were just talking about. You
yeah,
know, the core guys that are still there probably have reason to be either financially or they're just at a place in their life where they're not looking to move to another ship. And I'm sure that the Polar check is still pretty nice.
oh yeah,
But anybody who's not part of that core team, you know, it's almost like you were part of a startup that went public and now you're kind of joining this public organization that has a very clear way of doing things and an individual leading that charge. And if you don't fit the mold or you don't like it, it's kind of like you're a dime a dozen, we'll find someone else.
yeah. Polar's becoming more of that kind of brand, right? It's more mature. It's no longer kind of the core group of people that it was incubated as, and they're just kind of pulling guys from wherever trying to grasp at that kind of original identity, and I think missing the mark more than somebody like Weekend, who we just discussed. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Passport. You got a thumbs up for Passport. I agree. I also have a thumbs up for Passport. Authentic Australian brand now with global worldwide distribution. Jack O'Grady's wonderful. I think that maybe on the
Who's the other guy with like the crazy nollie trays? Oh, maybe he was writing for April, is who I'm thinking.
oh, Noah Naif.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah.
I thought he could have been a passport guy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys. I think I think there's a lot of cracked Australians right now that you would think might fit better on Passport,
Right.
like Rowan Davis,
Davis.
Noah Naif, the guy on Weekend, Riley Pavey. These guys I think would all have a fine home on Passport. But I like what Passport's kind of its own thing, and we don't know anything about like the social stratification of Australia. So maybe there's something to it. Jack O'Grady's amazing. Callum Paul's kind of like the OG. Matlock Bennett Jones is really good. Josh Paul. So they have the team gels. It appears like they're friends and get along well, and it's got that homie vibe still.
Their boards are cool.
I was going to say, product-wise, they make great boards. I've skated a lot of Passport boards. I really like the shapes that they use. I think Passport, it goes upper right quadrant for sure.
Yep. Agreed.
Maybe we put Are they more cracked than Weekend? They sit. I think they sit here.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's time for Deluxe. Time to talk about Deluxe, and we might ruffle some feathers here. We might get a little spicy in this section, but I don't know, man. What do you think? I don't think Deluxe really has that much motion in 2025. And listen, this is to say nothing of the importance of Deluxe distribution. This is to say nothing of the contributions of people like Jim Thiebaud, Frank Gerwer, those types of Mickey Reyes, those types of OG important San Francisco worldwide global skateboarding important legends. Please send us Spitfires and Venture Trucks. But the board brands within Deluxe are they're a little tired. They're all sort of almost all sort of kind of over mature. Let's start with Real. I
think like Real and Anti-Hero represent polar opposites of Deluxe. They're sitting on either sides of the spectrum, where I feel like Real has become like the SOTY team.
Yes.
Like if you're a skater of the year, you're on Real, and it's like they're in like a league of their own in terms of skill level, and it's like watching a Real video can't be compared to like watching a hockey video. Unless that's the type of skating you're into, which for me, again, this is totally subjective. I have never really been into the music, the editing, the teams, just because I can't relate to it. It's not like I can't relate to that level of skating. I can't relate really to the, editing style and music choices. It just wasn't something, and it's been around for a long time, even when we were, kind of coming up and getting into skating. Like, I feel like it's been that kind of cut and dry mold of doing things, and now they're just stacking their team with a bunch of SOTYs, and it's cool. But I think also, as good as those guys are, they're not like pushing their skating really at this point in their career, aside from maybe Ashad. But Ashad's even like not doing crazy stuff. His fits have just gotten swaggier, and he's like aura has gotten greater. But aside from Ishad, I don't really, I'm not really into the Real team.
Yeah, I mean, Ishad, Mason, Kyle Walker. I've heard Kyle Walker's on a bit of a tear right now.
I know he was injured for a while and he wasn't skating. That's why.
Yeah, I've been seeing photos lately. I've been seeing some crazy photos in the mag and just hearing things here and there that
He must be, because Vans is still putting. I mean, I know his shoe sells well, but they're putting out newer. They're putting out more like Kyle Walker press on newer released shoes, so he must have something in the works.
He's going to be one of the last men standing at Vans, probably, the way things are going over there. But this is not the shoe team video. We're not talking about that. But yeah, Real. I like what they're doing with the women's skaters. I like Nicole. I like Haley Wilson. I think Haley Wilson's actually really one of the best female skaters out right now. But yeah, they're just not that relevant for how like amazing the team is. Jimmy Wilkins, I think, was a good pickup. I don't know. I don't know what gets people juiced on Real again. Maybe it's stop making such heinous graphics.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I think
But I think it's like people would hate them even if they tried doing something different too. It's like people would be like, oh, like Real's trying to do something different and like hating on them for trying to do something different.
yeah. What?
Like the
Yeah.
skate community is never going to be, they're always going to have an opinion.
Yeah, I think I like it when I see them go back kind of to the mid late 90s style, sort of early Real graphic style, rather than like the weird high tech Phoenix on the bottom of an Everslick board that is like
Yeah.
foil holographic whatever. So I'm going to put them I know this is mean, but I'm going to put them. I mean, there's as a team
I would put them there too.
they
I'd
are
put 'em
so
there too.
cracked. You can even move them further this way, but they're just
But
not.
you can't say like you could say like I love the Hockey 3 video,
Mm,
and people would know exactly what you're talking about. Or I could point to clips in that, but I don't fucking know the name of a Real Skateboards video, and I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I know, but there's also vastly more content to consume to be able to make that decision. But again, it's never really been my cup of
There
tea.
hasn't been like a real like a real full length in God knows, over a decade, I would say,
Right,
unless I'm tripping. They were trying to rebuild it with like Tanner Van Vark and Gage Boyle, remember?
right.
But I think those guys are gone, I'm pretty sure. Like those guys are no longer around. I think Tanner Van Vark just like bowed out of the industry completely. I hope he's doing okay. I met him once. He's a nice guy, actually, IRL.
I thought I thought Gage Boyle was now on April for some reason.
Who knows? That's the thing. That's what I'm saying is like they had those guys, and then I think like they got Mason on, and
Right.
it became this like all-star team, and I think that's kind of why all these guys are pulled in so many different directions, like Ashad, Mason, Kyle Walker. Like there's money coming, there's money pushing those guys from Nike, from Vans, etc. To where we probably won't see a real full
Right.
length. I would love them to prove me wrong, and maybe that would put some juice behind them. Anyway, let's talk about 1/8.
I think it's a good take though. I think it's a solid take, not just a subjective take.
Yeah, no, this is all real, true shit. Don't be mistaken.
Real trap shit.
Yeah, this is an instant hood classic. This is gonna go straight into the law books of what you guys should think.
But like I was saying before, like I think Anti-Hero jumping into them as the next company here, I think that they're like the other end of the spectrum where it's like they've towed this line of political correctness, I think, in their entire existence, but it's always kind of been like I don't know, the raw side of skating, like the Felper side of skating, and like I don't know. It's a style of skating and a kind of a personality that comes with that again can't relate to. I know plenty of guys that fit that mold, and it makes sense why they like Anti-Hero, but it's never been something that I've been like super stoked on. Aside from like Grant Taylor, I like watching Grant Taylor, but I'm only ever turning on a Anti-Hero video so that I can watch his footage. I'm not really like super into anybody else on that team, but that could also just be me not having that much of an interest in their brand to begin with to have taken that step to research and figure it out.
Here's what I think. I agree. I think the branding of Anti-Hero is so powerful and has done a lot for them. I think the classic Anti-Hero Eagle team board, that board will never go out of style and will always be accepted and will always have that Hesh spirit embodied. But I agree. I think the team, as a skate team today, 2025, we got to remember this exercise. Yeah, I'm not super blown away. I will say they're in a little bit of a good rebuilding phase with guys like Gus Gordon. I think Cody, what's his name? Cody Chapman on there.
Yeah.
Those two, that's some good juice. Don van der Linden, I've been a fan. Don van der Linden, I've been a fan. And I've said it on the show before, I do not like Doobie. So it's a big knock for me on Anti-Hero in 2025, giving that guy a platform. And it's not that I don't like him as a person. I think, and I've said it on the show, you guys know, I think we would, if I were on a sesh with Doobie, God forbid, but if I were, I think we would bro down and have a great time. I love weird European guys. I love gypsies. I like hanging out. I'm not a teetotaler. I like having a couple of bevies with the boys. I like chilling out. I like fishing, whatever. But I don't like the platform that they give him and the way that they glorify his antics. I'm not a fan. There's that thing with Doobie and Chris Fanner they canceled that sick film festival in Croatia, the skate film festival with the Dan Wolf thing. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it again. Doobie's my big knock on Anti-Hero. Otherwise, I like everything else. They put that guy Peter Stanchev on there. I don't know if you saw. He's on the team now. Very sick. So I like where they're going right now. I'll see past Doobie. I think Anti-Hero is definitely still relevant.
Right.
Doobie is gonna put them just slightly into the whack sphere.
Yeah.
But I think they toe that line right there.
I think that board graphic you mentioned, it's never not going to be relevant. It's like every time I've seen a skater that's been between board companies, they're either spray painting the bottom of their board or they're riding one of those.
Totally. The Anti-Hero board will never go out of style. Completely agree. I completely agree. Okay, this is an interesting one. Crooked skateboards. I kind of like where Crooked is right now. Of the Deluxe brands, right now, I think Crooked has the highest ceiling, the most motion, which is kind of funny because I feel like it was pretty sleepy for a while. Mm-hmm. But now where it is, they've got Brad, they've got Tom Knox, they've got Mark, the Gons. That's a lot of brand. Mike Anderson. They've got Mike Anderson. Who else? Who am I missing? Una Ferrar. I'm a big fan. She as well. What'd you say?
I said Uma Thurman.
Yeah, Uma Thurman. Yeah, they've got Uma Thurman on there. She's great. She was great in Pulp Fiction. No, I don't know. Crooked's got some motion. And Andrew Wilson. So like we were saying, like
Andrew Wilson.
So I was an Andrew Wilson denier up until that last Crooked Pro part he put out. And I thought that was the best footage I've seen from him ever. I was really amped on it. The trick that he did at Con Ed, so sick.
Super sick.
And we love Brad.
He's a tall man too.
Yeah, he's a tall man. So, Crooked. I think Crooked goes top right quadrant for sure. Are they as relevant as hockey? Definitely not. I think hockey goes up in relevance.
Yes.
Crooked can sit down here with these guys, and I think it's a good, maybe even a little bit closer to Anna.
But I agree with what you're saying. Like they have like I can see a Crooked development and an evolution over the next 5 years in a really cool and unique way where I can't really see Anti-Hero or Real doing that.
Yeah, they're on a good swing, and they have. I always look forward to the next Crooked video. Like they put together a team video. They're not too cool for that. And I like it. I like what they're putting down at Crooked. So, all right, last Deluxe brand. And then
I didn't even know this company.
The newest Deluxe brand. Their skateboards. So their skateboards was founded as like a Deluxe brand. I want to say it came out of this thing called Unity, which was sort of their whole thing is inclusivity
I see.
Across, and I'm gonna, these are two cisgendered white men talking about this, but I would say across gender and it's a anti-gender normative. Not anti. I
understand. It's like it's a play on the pronoun, your preferred pronoun.
Right. I think it's great that Deluxe went there and did it and created this legitimate brand inside arguably the most legitimate distribution in the business,
Right.
and gave those people a space and a voice. I think as a team they haven't done as much maybe as we would hope. But
Who's on their team? Like, who's on it?
there's some good skaters on the team, and that's the thing. Like Chandler Burton, I think got
Oh, nice.
one of the first pro models. So I think Chandler may or may not still be on. That's the thing is like they came out gunning, did a big video, had a big team. You know, like I said, very inclusive. James Petoniak is another one who was on there who I thought was really good, just like a talented sort of unsung guy from New Jersey who's really good. Yeah, there's plenty of good skaters on there. I just would like to see a little bit more from them. I think as a team, you know, it's been a little bit quiet since they had their initial jump. So they you know, I don't know.
For some reason I thought that Chandler was on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna get on or whatever, but I know that there gave him an ad and a pro model, so at least for a minute he was on or still is. So I don't know. We'll see. You know, that's one of the ones we'll just kind of have to wait and see. I'm gonna put them.
Maybe in the middle of Irrelevant and Whack and Crack because we don't know what it is yet, really.
Yeah, I mean we know what it is. You don't know what it is, but
I don't know what it is, but but have they put out a video like or anything?
yeah, there was a full length sort of
Uh,
soon after they came out, but that was a few years ago. So I think
they're there.
I think we'll put them there. Yeah. Girl skateboards.
I think Girl is like in the same spot as Real.
Mm. Yeah.
I think like maybe I don't know. It's just like and what they're missing in Sodies, they're making up in like other like old icon skaters, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think their sauce is definitely no longer in the old. You know,
I guess it's not it has heritage, I suppose. I'm just used to like I just associate like Girl with like Cradle Tap and like all of those guys. And I guess again it could just be me not paying attention. But that's again why I would put them in irrelevant. They're irrelevant to me because I don't really watch their stuff.
I would say Girl is more relevant this year. They put out a full length.
Rowan's part of that was good.
I'm a
Is
yes. So you did see Rowan's part, yeah.
I saw that, but only because I watched Rowan's footage because you told me that it was good. So I went back and I watched it.
Okay. Well, fair enough. That's what you should do. When I tell you to watch something, you should.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they toe the line between relevant and irrelevant. I think they're inching actually more towards relevancy this year.
Yeah.
I think Simon Bannerow is amazing. I think he's as
I
what
just think I that is cool. I didn't even know he was on Girl, honestly. But maybe that's because I didn't watch the video.
he's been on for years though.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, no. So Simon Bannerow, I think they took a good swing at him. I think they put a good bet on him a few years ago. They must have seen what now everybody else is seeing. He's on a tear. I think he as well as Diego are going to be big names in the end of the year discussion.
Yeah,
The Sodi
definitely.
conversation. He's already got 2 parts out this year, full parts, and then he had that Spitfire part. And I guess in the Girl video, he was kind of sprinkled, and then he's got stuff in this Thrasher video that just came out. He's got a lot of footage as well. You know, they have guys like Niels Bennett, who I'm a big fan of. Like Niels has been doing his thing over in Europe with the Sour guys a little bit. Like we've seen him on the show before. It's unrecognizable from the original Girl squad, and it's almost
Right.
a little bit kind of sad when they wheel out, you know, Mike Carroll and Rick. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think Girl is actually better off than I thought it would be at the beginning of the year. So you know, I like the trajectory with Girl right now.
I like it too. I mean, I think it's my input comes from a lack of consuming any of their more recent content. So
Yeah, no,
I don't
listen,
want
and
to give them
I can't
too much
expect
flack.
you. I can't expect you to be as chronically, online as I am. Nobody is. But this is how I'm feeling about it right now. And the product is, the Krail Tap wood I've ridden a good amount in the past 5-10 years. It's consistent. It's
Yeah.
consistent. And the shapes, they have a lot of shapes to choose from. And I found some of those shapes to be enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's keep it in the family. Chocolate. I would say.
Fun fact: my first skateboard ever was a chocolate board.
Oh, sick.
It was just like it was just like a chocolate, like this graphic
Yeah, the
board.
chocolate chunk logo. I think that's what they
Yeah,
call that, the OG chunk logo. I think I put chocolate kind of right here,
yeah.
sort of.
They were kind of making a push
Yeah, they.
and like a rebrand of chocolate. I don't know how many years ago was that when like they were when Carl was putting out a lot of footage, and what's Carl's friend that like had one video and then never really put anything else out? Josue.
Oh yeah, yeah, Hosea Peters or whatever.
Yeah. I liked
Yeah,
his skating too. I thought he was on chocolate, but maybe he was just flow.
I don't know. Well, and that's one of those brands where they all like it's the lore is very much like you're not on. You spend all this time on flow, and for them to put you on, it's this big thing. But I think
Right.
in this day and age, you can't really be doing that. You got to snap guys up, when they're really guys you really need to get on the team. So I don't know. I think I like that guy Eric Herrera. He's all right. I like Jordan.
Right. Yeah, I like his style.
I like Jordan Trahan. Um, I think Carl gets more hate than he should, although he doesn't do himself a lot
Yeah.
of favors with all of the photos of himself on his Instagram and Paris Fashion Week appearances and chilling out. But I think there's potential there. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for chocolate. We don't need to spend too much time on that one. It's kind of self-explanatory. Okay,
Yeah.
so this corner's funny. This corner is stuff that I forgot to add until just before we got on the call. So we can knock through some of these pretty quickly. I've got 2 heritage brands, 2 mature, very post-mature, maybe some would say, brands, and then 3 sort of brand new emerging brands. So Alien Workshop, I think Alien Workshop is pretty much as irrelevant as it's ever been.
Yeah.
And there's really just not much of a team right now. Frankie Spears is gone. I think they're trying to rebuild around Evan Smith. Um,
Oh, Evan Smith doesn't have his own company anymore.
no, Uma Landsleds is gone. And so I just saw a clip of him riding alien boards. So, they got him on iPath now. They were putting alien boards under his feet. So maybe that's like a last ditch Far Cry
Right.
effort to get Alien back, but I think they're pretty far this way.
Yeah.
Plan B also I think deserves to be in this quadrant, although I will put them further this way.
They
Go ahead.
because they still have some like gnarly skaters, like they're good at skating. It's just not. I've never really been into Plan B, and I'm still not into Plan B. But I can't deny that some of their skaters are good.
Plan B, I mean, this might be the oldest still existing, if not one of the oldest still existing brands on this list. And yeah, they don't have much to give other than Chris Jocelyn. But I'm kind of, from doing this Fusilli thing, I've become more and more of a Chris Jocelyn truther, of a Chris Jocelyn fan. So I think, the Chris Jocelyn heat is basically all there is left in Plan B. They have
Ryan
Crawford.
Sheckler's still on Plan B.
I don't know. He has started his own brand, which isn't on the list, the Sandlot Times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you having not been on Instagram, you will have missed. Ryan Sheckler started this brand called Sandlot Times. It was supposed to like focus on getting kids into skating, and the only pros are him and Manny Santiago. So they're not on the list. Anyway, let's talk about Thank You skateboards.
Is that Costumes brand?
No, it's Day One and Tori Pudwill. Tori Pudwill is
Oh,
like
yes.
the main dude. I think they are not relevant and not that great.
Yeah, bottom left.
Yeah, they go down here. I mean, what? There's not really much to say. I think they put
It's
David Reyes on, and then it's like Tori and Daewon, like legendary skaters, but
yeah.
just why?
I know. It's like I think like when I see if I ever saw like a thank you board, it would be like at a complete at Walmart or something. Like
Yeah,
that's the kind of like vibe it's giving me.
it's got bargain bin zoomies vibes, from a branding standpoint. Sorry, Tori. It's just it's just why would you do that? And I think so much of the narrative is like, oh, don't go out and start your small brand. You're diluting the industry or whatever. Which I agree and I disagree because like I don't think Thank You is taking a lot of market share. I don't think Vinyl is taking a lot of market share. I think
Who's Vinyl?
so. Vinyl is the Blake Carpenter,
Oh, that's right.
Art Cordova brand. I think. Okay, so just saw an ad in Thrasher where Vinyl, they put on Jeff Lenosi, which I think is kind of interesting as like a OG legend. Um,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, I don't know. They have Thomas Drisas and Art Cordova. It's just kind of another one of those brands where it's like, why? I don't know. It could stick around. Swim.
Is that what's his name who used to be on Aliens?
Kevin
Urban?
Turperning. I think Swim. So they just put out an edit yesterday, and it was pretty good. So I'm gonna put them like shit. I don't even know.
They have the
They're almost
benefit of
relevant.
doubt because there hasn't been that much stuff put out.
They're almost relevant. Yeah, there hasn't been that much stuff put out, but this edit they just put out, we should watch it maybe after. Um, Ryan Connors is on there now. Ethan Loy is on there now. The team
That'd be cool.
Justin Dreisen had some really good footage. I don't know. They're kind of in a good spot right now, I think. So,
I like it.
so Swim, I'd say they're more towards cracked, and they are almost relevant. So
Not quite there.
Swim surprised us there.
They did.
Yeah. And then we've got Blem, which is Donovan Piscopo's brand, which I think goes down here. But yeah, Blem, it's interesting because Donovan's still really good, and I feel like he's been skating really well to kind of start this new brand, but he doesn't have much of a team. It's like all local Inland Empire kind of young rippers that he's putting on, so it's kind of untested. I don't know. I think I support him in his decision to leave hockey, because hockey is kind of no longer what it was when it started, and it sort of started, like you said, around him. But yeah, I don't know. Blem, the art direction doesn't seem super heady. I don't know. Blem's gonna be tough, I think.
I get this. I get the sense that like Donovan and Blake are both at the point in their career because I saw that like Vinyl. Now that you mentioned it was Blake's company, I saw that like edit he did where it was like him in his hometown kind of talking about the brand, and it seems like maybe Donovan and him are both at that point in their career where they're like not trying to be like sending it in the industry, going on trips and touring and doing all this different stuff that might be
Yeah.
expected of in a check. You're getting paid a check, you have to do what they say. They can like go back to their hometown, start a brand and kind of build it from there. And I think that Blem has a better opportunity just because Pawn Shop is already such a strong brand in itself, I think, and it's recognized in the industry. And if you have people who are coming in writing for the shop, like a Joe Campos, for example, that gets, brought up under the Pawn Shop roof and then is made pro for Blem, I think that has a nice kind of like feeder program for the future of the company.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and listen, I think there's still a good ceiling for it, and like you said, it's like a farm team. It's like a rung above a shop deck. you know.
Right. Right.
Um,
And maybe that's something that big companies should look at. Like, I'm not for having big corporations consume smaller brands or, skater-owned businesses, but like there is that argument of like flow skaters being better than pro skaters and what they're due. So if like these bigger brands want market share and teams, maybe they buy up these smaller companies and staff their flow riders on these smaller teams that then eventually get brought up to the major leagues or
right,
whatever.
right. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, Jacuzzi, Jacuzzi Unlimited.
I couldn't tell you anything about that brand, so I would
Jacuzzi.
say
Okay, let me give you the lowdown. Jacuzzi Unlimited is almost relevant, but the team, it's not a great team makeup. It's not. It doesn't appear to be gelling super well, but they're trying. They're trying. Louis Barletta. So this is Louis Barletta's break off of the dwindle, trying to raise a right. The branding is bad, just flat up. Like look how bad. Like look how bad this logo is. The red and the green, you can barely read it. The board graphics aren't much better. They have D'Lo. They have John D'Lo. And John D'Lo is great. He seems to be going through it a little bit right now. They're trying to keep that fun beer drinking kind of jovial thing going, but it does not. It comes across in a sort of sad way. It's just kind of like the party's over, everyone go home kind of vibe, but they're still trying to rage.
right.
I don't know.
I just think that's whole. I mean that's like Baker era, piss drunks. Not to say that it's that like raw or uh like that vein of like style of skating or behaving, but it's like in that era of like, if you're filming and you're promoting your company on the platform of like drinking and partying, I just don't see how it's not like kids aren't really into drinking, I feel like that much anymore anyway.
I think the tilt mode drinking thing is just it's just not it in 2025, and it's not something that I think is
It's also like not original. It's like I don't know. It's like when I see that, I'm just like, oh, these kids are like, I don't know. It seems like they're like biting a way of skating that was popular at a certain time. That's like not. I mean, it's like everybody was a teenager and young doing stupid shit, but like I don't need to have that be a part of a video.
yeah, it's not 2006 anymore.
Exactly.
It's 2025. All right, let's talk about jocks. Let's talk about the big jocks, maybe the biggest jock skateboarding team that there ever has been. Primitive. What do you think?
I don't know. My opinions aside, I think it's like even if you don't care for the skating, you know what primitive is, or you don't even into skating, you know what primitive is. So you can't say that they're not relevant.
I completely
And
agree. I
they're
completely agree.
cracked too. Like their team is really good.
I completely agree. I think Primitive is relevant and cracked. It's a super team. It is a super team of tech legends. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't even need to go into it, really.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And then April kind of seems like the baby brother of Primitive and is like on its way to potentially being like Primitive, but I'd say they're on the like irrelevant,
Yes.
relevant line.
Yes, I would say that they are on the same level of crackedness. In fact, some of those guys I like, maybe even a little bit more than the guys on Primitive, like Kai Kishi. Are you familiar with Kai Kishi?
Yeah.
Amazing. And Noah Nayev, we already mentioned.
Yep.
They've got guys. I like Deshaun Jordan. I like a lot of, I like
Who's
a lot of.
who's the other guy who had a followed who's on April? He rides for New Balance, I think, too.
Oh, this is gonna. Ronnie Kessner.
Ronnie Kestner, I like
Yeah,
him too.
Ronnie
He's good.
Kestner's really good. I think April's a little bit too. Of course, they have Yuto. They have Guy
Mm-hmm.
Mariano for the
Then
heritage
Shane.
pick. Shane, of course. Raisa Leal. You know what?
Yeah.
They're they're relevant. They're more relevant. That's
I
the
mean, we also like if I was like a fan of Street League and I watched Street League, you'd be like most of their team I feel like is in Street League too. So like they're definitely relevant. It's just not necessarily my cup of tea.
right. Again, we're not. It's not our cup of tea. It's not.
Right.
But who are we to say that
Right.
these aren't
Right.
powerful, relevant teams? I think that's
Right. And I think that April is an example, one of few examples that like a pro leaving an organization and having enough gravity to draw other uh, skaters in and create something that is like as good or better than where they came from. I feel like even like some pros where you think it should have worked out and it still doesn't, I feel
sure.
like it's also Shane has a bag too. That's the difference. If you have
Well,
money to keep people on staff,
totally. But it's true. Like how many times did Costin try? Like, and certain guys try and it doesn't take. I think it wouldn't be fair. Like April's definitely established, and you can't
yeah,
take that away from them. Um, maybe they're not like cool, but something about the operation is cool. And it's
right,
in like its legitimacy and how polished it is.
right.
And
It's like it kind of reminds me of like holographic Pokemon cards.
yeah,
Is like
they lean
they're
into
like
it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They're not trying to be somebody else. They're doing what they already like, kind of originally put out and never switched up and is now kind of leaning into it.
totally. Quasi. We love Quasi, don't we?
We love Quasi. I love Quasi.
We love
I
Quasi.
just I've always been a fan. I love their team. I think Quasi is like what Alien was in its prime now is like a skater's like a skate team's I don't know, it's like a cool or what FA or hockey wishes they were right now. I feel like Quasi hasn't like oversaturated themselves in the skate market. Their marketing is pretty like low key. They don't do a lot of like video content aside from their actual videos. And I think like their team writers are also like aloof individuals where you can't really get a sense of like who they are or what they're about on a daily basis. You kind of just see their skating when it comes out in the videos. I'm speaking of like Jake Johnson and Bobby DeKeyser more specifically. But I think, and what's his name? Gilbert Crockett's on there as well as the other guy from New Jersey, right? Who was on Huff for a while.
Dick Rizzo.
Dick Rizzo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think Quasi's. I totally agree with you. I think Quasi's the best thing to come out of the death of Alien. I think Quasi, FA, and hockey. Those are kind of like the logical. I don't know what you would say. Conclusion of what came out of Alien, right? Dill went his way, and Dill and Abe went their way. Gilbert went his way. Quasi's been great with branding, great team. I would say they're a little bit less relevant right now, but it doesn't mean that they couldn't jump back up with the next thing.
Right.
Like this year, for me, Quasi, the only thing I could name is the Bobby part. And
Right.
we love Bobby. We love Bobby. We love Quasi. We love Jake Johnson. I mean, but it's just in 2025, is it as relevant? I think it goes here. I think it goes
Right.
just below the line. Still great, but just I need a little bit more from them
Right.
for me to put them up in that relevant tier.
Right, right. And I think, but I think that like that kind of is playing on what I said earlier, where like their coolness factor comes also from the fact that there's still some level of mystique with the brand where it's not like they haven't given you everything, and I
Absolutely.
feel like that Bobby video was like people either loved it or they hated it, but the
Yes.
people that loved it recognized that it was like something different and unique and like cool. And I think that that's like more of that over time is going to make them be a more legendary company.
I agree, and I think the Quasi fan doesn't even want them to be relevant. You know,
Right, right,
the diehard Quasi enjoyer, I think, loves the team for just that reason.
right.
Is that they don't give you everything, and I think that was kind of Joa's critique of what Strobeck has done to Joe Campos.
Hmm.
Joe Campos, when he came out, we're all like, who's this guy? He had that hockey part. We're like, wow, look at this
Right,
kid. And then in the next Supreme edit, you've got Strobeck and Joe Campos talking on camera, harassing some homeless guy or security guard, and he just sounds like a little kid from Southern California.
right,
Um,
right.
so I think you're right. I think Quasi does a great job of keeping that mystique. Protecting their guys' anonymity a little bit, which is I
Right,
think commendable when you're going to employ people to do something to be in the public eye to take some heat off.
right.
So yeah, I love
And I also,
Quasi.
they've also done like an amazing job like staffing. I mean, their team, like all the guys on that team share that same mentality, it seems like too. Like no one individually is like trying to be like a pick me guy, like I'm the best. Look at what I can do. It's always kind of been like they were chosen for the team because of how they were as individuals beyond how they were as skaters too. So it all kind of I don't know, it makes sense. And I also just I like the way that their skaters skate and carry themselves. So it's
Absolutely.
easy to like.
Yeah, and I think that's what this the X axis is really for. It's like how much does this team make sense? It's not like how good are they at skating. Everybody's good at skating. But how
Right.
much does this team gel and coalesce and make sense as a finished product? And I think Quasi is great, is outstanding with that.
Baker.
Baker, um, Baker in 2025.
I think
Still relevant, I
still
think.
relevant for sure, but I feel like they were making a like they were doing a big like rebrand push of putting riders on like when and I think it kind of I don't know, it seemed to end when Casper got on and there was like this thing where they like pushed Casper and it was like a video drop and he had an interview where he was talking about it and then it's just kind of like I haven't really seen him in much footage of him afterward since that and I don't really know what their team makeup is also right now, like the official team, because there's so many guys that are like in and around the Baker sphere,
Yeah.
and a lot of the videos are oftentimes montage style that I don't really know. And it's also like the Baker Deathwish, like Deathwish is definitely more prominent, I feel like right now than Baker, at least in terms of like what they're
Huh.
putting out.
Interesting. I think I agree mostly. I think this is how I think it's going to start. Let's do them kind of both at once. I think
Mhm.
Baker, and then you put Deathwish maybe just above or a little bit to the
Yeah.
side in relevancy.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's tricky, right? Because Baker, a lot of the guys who are on Baker are amazing, um, but they're all kind of doing stuff spread out. Um,
Right.
like
T-Funk.
Right. T Funk, he's kind of over with like the GX guys a little bit, and
Right.
then Rowan is kind of with the Supreme guys a little bit, and then right, like who else is really on? That guy Stu Kirst, I think, is he Baker or
Dukers.
Deathwish?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know because Baker is one of those. It's like Antihero. It's like one of those established core, like you know what it is, you know what you're getting. And I think they've done a good job as they've matured of kind of keeping that brand identity going. Um, yeah, I don't know. Baker's really tricky right now in 2025. They had that Tyson and T Funk video. They've been doing kind of the videos where they'll spotlight one or two guys and then throw everybody in the montage, which I think is fine. I think that's the meta right now.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Am I missing something? Is there somebody on there I'm not thinking of that is like so cracked? I mean, Rowan Zarilla is amazing.
Right. I love his skate, but I agree with you. It's like I feel like I see him in more Supreme videos than I do in Baker's.
Oh, I see him in everything, right? And
Yes.
same thing with, like you said, with Casper. Like they put Casper on, had a little Casper celebration, and then Casper's kind of back doing Atlantic Drift, and
Right.
Casper's in Supreme stuff, and so yeah,
Right.
so there's like the Baker Supreme schism. It's not as
Zach Allen's on that. Is Zach Allen pro?
maybe, I don't know. I hope so. I like Zach Allen, but like as a
Me
team,
too.
it's not gelling as much.
Oh, Sully Coroner is on their team now. Is Sully pro?
Sully's definitely not pro, but he's good.
I'm looking at Baker's website, Sully Deck.
Oh, okay. So Sully's pro, I guess.
I didn't know. I just got to their website. I saw it. I was just like, oh, that's interesting. I mean, his footage is like it's good. It's like,
Yeah, it's
but I
just
don't know if it's like pro skater for Baker good.
let's talk about it like this. Like it's just not what it was 5 years ago or whenever Baker 4 came out.
Right.
Like, was that the swan song for Baker? Maybe. When they had Cater, when Figgy was still really doing it.
Yeah,
When
Riley. Is Riley still on?
Oh God, I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Baker's weird right now.
Baker's almost entering that like primitive realm of like people know Baker that aren't even really into skating anymore. So its relevance is like kind of immortalized.
Culturally
And
relevant for sure.
yes, fortunately relevant.
Absolutely. Baker 3, that legacy. But like those guys aren't really there. Like Greco,
No, I know.
Antoine, all those guys that made it
It's,
great. I guess Spanky's still there. Spanky's still great. Um, yeah, it's just
Reynolds is still good.
Reynolds is still good. It's just not as much of a cohesive team doing stuff right now.
Right. Right.
But its relevancy cannot be understated.
Right.
And its contribution to the skate culture cannot be understated. But that's not what this is. This is 2025 time capsule snapshot
Right.
of the industry. What are the best teams? And I agree with you. I think Deathwish is better right now than Baker. Hotter. And especially because I don't know if you know this, you probably don't know this, but they're putting it looks like they're putting Chris Athens on.
Oh, really? That's
So
sick.
so that's a good addition.
That's a huge addition. Dude, he's so good and deserves way more credit. I mean, he gets just bogged. I mean, he's crazy on those GX videos and stuff, but he hasn't had like has he had like an individual part?
Yeah, he had a Thunder Trucks part come out a couple years
Oh,
ago.
that's like when he was like street surfing, like the entire video is so sick.
I mean, he's always just street
Yeah,
surfing. Everybody who watches the show knows I'm a Chris Athens stan. So if you put Chris Athens on, that's gonna win you some points with me.
definitely.
I think Deathwish. Yeah, I think it's a good fit.
Taylor Kirby, Pedro Delfino, Neen Williams is still on Death Wish.
Yeah. But those other guys like Taylor Kirby's amazing. Like
Yeah,
remember that
super good.
kickflip he did over that
Across the
street gap?
street.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
met him in LA one time too. He was super cool. So
yeah. He
not
seemed
that that makes any difference on the team, but
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not fair to put them above Baker in relevancy, but I think it's fair to put them a little bit ahead in terms of team
yeah.
cohesiveness. I think Jamie Foy on Deathwish is still a good fit, even though everybody's like, "Oh, he should be on Real, he should be on Primitive." Yes, but I like that he's still loyal to it, and that says something about it.
Yeah.
Um,
To me, like the Jamie Foy on Death Wish is like Frankie Villani on Primitive. It like
hmm.
doesn't it didn't really make sense when he first got on, but now he's such a staple to the brand that like it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the Jamie stock is at an all-time high, and that's a huge integral part of the sauce that's on Deathwish. All
All
right,
right, Zero Beer.
Zero Beer, exactly. It's time for Zero Beer, Zero Skateboards. What do you got?
Not doing it for me.
Not
I
yeah.
mean, I put him in irrelevant and whack to move on because there wasn't much else to say.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think shit, without Gabbers, like it's pretty tough. It's pretty des over there right now.
Hmm.
I will say, like, I love Ben Havren. I don't think Zero's a good fit for him, but at least they're still doing their thing, I guess. I don't know. They lost Gabbers, so you lose Gabbers, you kind of lose me with that, I think.
And a lot of people, and probably the rest of the team.
Yeah, yeah. Jamie Thomas seems difficult. Seems kind of similar problems as to what Pontus has demonstrated with Polar. So yeah, I think that's fair. We don't need to spend too much more time on that. Santa Cruz, irrelevant
Irrelevant.
and whack. Yeah,
They're always kind of like they seem to be like the sprint. They have some like initial AMs that are like go on to be like notable skaters, but they always seem to be the brand that like puts someone on first, and then
hmm
they like jump from Santa Cruz somewhere else more serious.
for sure. I mean, right now I think of Santa Cruz, the only person I can name is like Tom Asta.
Yeah,
And listen, Tom Asta's great. I love the East Coast. I love ledge skating. I love flat ground. But it's just not one
yeah.
guy does not a team make.
No, no,
So
definitely not.
in fact, I think, and since that axis is supposed to be how good of a team is it, how well does
Right.
the team gel, I think they go here. And
Yeah.
I think zero at least is more cohesive as a team.
Right, right. For better or worse.
I think zero maybe goes here.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Okay, King skateboards. I think King.
I think they're relevant but whack.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they kind of fold. I think they kind of fold in right here by Violet.
Yeah.
They're not.
It's just not, it wasn't executed well. It's not executed well. It could be cool. I just don't think that like, it doesn't seem organized at all.
Yeah,
And maybe it's just because all the guys that are on their team are still prime. There's not like
yeah,
the traditional owner of a skate company is usually someone who's like did the TM thing and knows how to like manage a team and or like had a career and is now sunsetted out of their career where Tyshawn is still
yeah,
on one more than ever.
yeah. He's too busy litigating and ruining cushy, life-changing sponsorship deals to put out a good cohesive skate product
Yeah.
and put together,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's totally fair. Disorder, the other king, the West Coast king.
West Coast Kings.
I think Disorder is more relevant,
More relevant.
but also kind of whack.
Yeah.
They put out that team edit this year, and it was just not cohesive. It felt like it was filmed on 5 different cameras, and probably was filmed
Yes.
on 5 different cameras, and it
I
had
mean, it was just like everybody's individual footage that their homie was filming of them thrown into a video.
yeah, there was no team vibe. There was no flow to it. They had some good guys. I think it was great to see Mark Appleyard skating. Still skating at a high level for being,
Yeah.
like an almost
Yeah.
50-year-old dude. I like that when teams give a good, like a heritage guy a board. I think
Right.
that's working for April with Guy. I think that'll work for Vinyl with Jeff Lenosi a little bit too.
Mhm.
But yeah, fucking Disorder. It's the Nija. It's the
Disorder.
Nija show. I'd almost rather just see Nija and like.
I know. Be your own label, your own brand. It would make so much more sense.
I'd almost rather just see like him and Dominic Walker and David Loy, like whoever's like hanging out, like whoever lives,
Right.
the guys that live under the same roof. Like that's all we
Yeah.
really need to see. I don't need
Right,
need
right.
Nija to be farming youth talent, which it looks like.
Yeah, I know.
Which it looks
I
like
know.
he is, but I don't fucking know. All right, let's switch it up. Let's talk about something we both love. OD, baby.
Okay.
Hardbody.
Sick.
Hardbody's great because it started as the homie brand, but now it's fucking sick. Like
Yeah.
their acquisition phase, they bring in Antonio, they bring in Yalta, and you're like, huh, what? They're on
Mm-hmm.
Hardbody? Is that
Mm-hmm.
gonna work? And then you're like, oh shit, it works perfectly.
Yeah.
Um, I think Hardbody's super relevant
Yes.
and has great team gelling propensities. I love.
Yeah.
I've already spoken about it, but Emilio Dufour, and what's the other guy's name? Eze Martinez, Milton Martinez's fresh brother.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah. Those
That's cool.
those guys had a great. I'll send it to you. They had a great like shared VX part when they were put on Hardbody that came out. There's just good stuff coming on with Hardbody. The product is cool. I've been skating Hardbody boards, good shapes. Um, I don't know. I just Hardbody's got
They were, I
motion.
mean, when I lived in New York, they were like, it was like a cool, like more like local underground brand, you know. It what
Right.
they've been around for a while, but it wasn't something that like, you'd only see like people in, New York skating hard body boards. You wouldn't see it like anywhere else.
Absolutely. And I think compared to these other brands on this list, it's kind of the only brand where it started like that. It started just with homies that nobody knows, and now it's this big thing because they've managed it well and they've leveraged their relationships and they've leveraged being cool. They've
Right.
leveraged that goodwill. Yeah, I'm so happy for Hardbody and where they are right now, and I think they deserve everything. The ads are super cool. Pick up a Thrasher if you haven't seen one. The print ads are awesome. It's never a skate photo. It's always just some random shit. But um, I don't know. I fuck with it. I'm totally on board for Hardbody.
Me too. Me too.
Okay, well now we're gonna flip the coin again and talk about GX 1000.
I like GX 1000 better as just a crew and filming team of like guys going out and filming rather than it being like an actual brand and team with boards. Uh,
Exactly. That's my point to a T. GX as a board brand, I don't even think it really should be a board brand. Um, like I don't know, like GX. I think you said it yourself. I think you said it exactly right. Their power was in being a crew making videos. Um, I don't think it ever should have become a board brand. All my favorite guys out of GX videos skate for other brands anyway.
mhm.
Like Eddie Cernicki's on Crooked, which, by the way, I didn't mention when we talked about Crooked, but that's a huge part
Yeah,
of the current motion at Crooked.
right.
Chris Athens was never on GX, the board brand. Well, maybe he was Flow, but he was never pro for them. They turned like Zach Kroll pro, Jeff Carlisle, fine. Like those are like the classic, core GX guys. But I just think as a board brand,
It could have been too. It's like to me, it looks like he's the guy, whoever, whatever the guy's name is, the filmer who kind of
Ryan
like is
Ryan
the,
Garshell,
yeah.
yeah,
It could either have been like him seeing all of these guys that he's filming on a regular basis and he's not getting market share in terms of payback because the footage is largely probably going either to their sponsors videos or like because through his filming these skaters are getting more of a platform and more opportunity to get paid. I see it as his way of trying to capture back some of that market share, but it's like
yeah. That's a good
I
point.
don't know. I feel like it's like trying to catch lightning in a bottle and then sell it.
I think that's a great point. I hadn't considered that. You know, he puts a lot of effort in. He wants to recoup on his investments of his blood, sweat, and tears. I respect that. I respect the hustle. I just don't love what I hear about those guys either, and kind of the way that they comport themselves in public
Right.
space, the way that
Right.
they tend to alienate people, the way that when T Funk ollied the China Bank bench, somebody threw a glass bottle at the ground. Like, I just don't like. I said it at the top of the year. Like, being a pain in the ass is so out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's my other big rub with GX. So I like that. For example, Chris Athens is sort of getting distance and going over on the Deathwish thing, and I like that, guys like Eddie Cernicki are not tied completely into that, and I can see them in Converse stuff, and I can see them in other stuff. So GX was so exciting in the beginning. I think it's kind of wearing off a little bit. And yeah, I don't think it has that much sauce as a board brand. It doesn't make sense as a skateboard team, I don't think. As a crew, yes. As a board brand, yeah. All right, let's breeze through these last ones. Some of these should be pretty easy. Element.
E stands for Europe.
What's that?
Element, and the E in Element stands for Europe.
Yeah, exactly. Element Europe. I love Vincent Malou.
Yeah.
I like Vittoria Mendonça. I like who they've got on right now. Do they still have Nick Garcia? Maybe. I think that they are irrelevant as Element has ever been as a brand. It probably should have stopped being a brand. But they sell enough T-shirts to pay Vincent Malou. So that's commendable. Do they deserve to be on this side, or should they be on this side?
I think they're irrelevant but cracked. I think typically their skaters are good. But they're always like, I don't know. They're never the ones you know about, and it's often European.
Well, now it's completely European. Like that,
Yeah.
I think they've cut all efforts in the U.S. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I love Vincent Malou, so I'll put him here. I think that's fair. Toy Machine. It's
I think they're on the irrelevant and whack
I think so too.
side
It's
too.
hard to like. It's tough to say, but like it's just not. When we look at these brands and think about what they were when they began, and think about what they've matured into, now it's like Toy Machine is like a holding company for street league guys.
Yeah.
Like Braden Hoban, that Cordano Russell. They just
Hmm.
turned him pro.
Hmm.
It's like Olympic squad
Right.
contenders.
And it doesn't really make sense. Like
No.
the none of the marketing goes with and branding goes with what their team is kind of like represented by right now.
And right, and what about Cordano Russell is similar to Brian Anderson skating to Pink Floyd, front
Yeah.
blunting Hubba Hideout,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
or Donnie Barley, or like
Yeah.
you know, it's just it's weird. Um,
It is also like it puts a sour taste in my mouth about the brand as a whole because of how strongly opinionated Ed Templeton usually is.
yeah,
And it seems like he's like being a hypocrite almost in his approach to the brand now.
yeah, yeah. If you watched my Impossible tier list video, you'll know that I'm not the biggest Ed Templeton. I don't give him as much grace maybe as many of you do out there. I'm not a
I think there's
massive.
a lot of Ed Templeton glazers.
Yeah, I'm not a big Ed Templeton fan. But that's another story for another time. One of the ones I forgot to put on here was Foundation. I should have pulled their logo in, but I think
I
Foundation.
mean, they got pulled when Corey Glick left.
Yeah, they still have Dakota. I don't know. They did that Whippersnappers video when Glick was still on, and Dakota and Keegan McCutcheon had a really good part for
Mm.
them. I just don't know. Maybe what you do is you take Leo Romero off Toy Machine, put him on Foundation with Dakota. Those guys are already skating together anyway, and have that be the core skate Tom Yeddo brand, and then just leave Toy Machine for Street League
Yeah,
ghouls.
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Birdhouse. What do we think about Birdhouse? San Diego's finest.
I
Uh,
don't know. I just like,
I'm thinking they're going like right here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Same.
Birdhouse, they're also kind of positioning right now. They put on Grayson Fletcher. For whatever reason, they put on Tom Shar. Tom Shar's a good fit.
Hmm.
They put on that 9-year-old girl who can do back-to-back 900s or whatever,
Right.
switch 540s.
Jimmy Wilkins on Birdhouse?
No, before he was on Real, he was on Creature, which I also don't have Creature. Oh fuck.
Oh,
Creature is irrelevant, whack.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Yeah, I don't know. It's just like some of this shit. Um,
It's just like, and also I feel like Birdhouse is just like you're slapping Tony Hawk on your name.
yeah,
And like you're automatically given some kind of recognition because you're on Birdhouse, but doesn't go ever as far as that.
you're never going to get out of the shadow that Tony casts if you're a Birdhouse skater. Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree. Frog. We love Frog, don't we?
Relevant and cracked.
I agree. We love Frog. Frog is so sick.
And I love it because they started the brand like with the intention of being in the bottom left. Like it was like almost like intentional. They were intentionally trying to
Yes,
be as a joke.
self-sabotage.
Exactly. But like
Yes,
the over the course of the years, the satire has become more and more serious. Not in serious in the way that they're taking it, but the way that everybody else takes it.
right.
Um, and I think that they've never switched up. Their videos are like just as good as like, those old Juicy Elbows videos that used to come out on YouTube, like dad cam style with the homies just
Right.
being weird and skating that's like totally relatable. Like they're really fucking good, but like they're skating spots that I could probably find in my local area, or like they're skating weird stuff in a weird way that makes you like want to go skate more than somebody jumping down, a 35 stairs skating a kink rail.
Totally. Totally. The relatable aspect and also what it started out as versus what it is now um is really cool and authentic, I think. Now we've got Crazy Frankie and Nick Michael and like guys who are really really good pushing the envelope, doing actually insane shit, but it
Right.
still carries that vibe of not taking yourself too seriously. Evan Wasser, I love.
Gabe.
Gabe. Gabe is amazing. Is Josh McLaughlin on Frog?
I think, and then what, Hayden Burns is on Frog still?
Yeah, I mean,
Or
it's
is he
just
on?
they just have so many guys like that where they're just fun to watch, interesting. Uh,
Chris Millick. I love Chris Millick.
Chris Millick is amazing. Chris Millick
Yeah.
is amazing. So yeah, Frog.
And all those guys are really cool too. I've met Chris. I know Gabe. All those guys are really cool and nice too.
Yeah, they've done a good job on the social aspect of presenting themselves well. So kudos to Frog. Okay, we're rounding the bend here. We only got a few more. Edgelord. I think Blondie said everything that there needs to be said. I won't say that it's irrelevant because we're talking about
Right.
them,
Right.
but they are whack as hell. And that's really all that there is to say about that.
Yeah, agreed.
Rosvet. I like Rosvet.
Rosvet is like the Russian
Yes.
kind of team,
Yeah,
right?
Tolya Titayev, I believe, is kind of the main dude that started it.
And then what's his name's on that now from Atlantic Drift? What's his name?
Oh, who are you talking about?
What's his name? Maybe he's not on Rosvet. He's got crazy back threes.
Oh. Oh, God, I love this guy. He's like my favorite.
He just did a follow too.
Oh, what is his fucking name? Remy Tavera.
Larry Tamara, yeah.
I don't know
Is he on
I don't know
Rosvet?
if he's on Rosvet. Maybe. I hope so.
He has
I
a
don't know.
Rosvet vibe.
He definitely has a Rosvet vibe. Gillette is on now. Deeds might be getting on.
Who's the kind of skinhead looking guy who's really good too?
Oh,
Uh,
Talia probably is there.
Talia, but then there's another guy who's
Oh,
from
Val Bauer
Bauer,
is on
yeah.
Rosvet. Yeah, they had that
Right.
blue video last year.
Yeah.
I fuck with Rosvet. I think that they are. I don't
It
think
seemed
I
like
don't think they're that relevant though. I
no,
think they're like
no,
up here maybe.
right.
Um,
Do you remember
or maybe
Becky Factory?
yeah. Eli
It
Reed's
feels like
brand.
a successful Becky Factory endeavor.
Oh, totally. And they're to talk. I mean, I know we're not talking about clothes, but their cut and sew stuff is like all up in Dover Street Market and shit.
Oh,
Like, oh
sick.
yeah, Rosfet is like the fashion MFs really love Rosfet. So yeah, Rosfet's got motion. I like Rosfet. There's that Lilian Fev on
Hmm.
Rosfet who's really good. Yeah, I like what Rosfet's putting down. I think
Me too.
Rosfet's cool. They're not super in the conversation, but they are doing it. So I think that's a
And
good spot.
they're doing it. It's like their thing. They're doing it their way. They're clearly not like trying to appease to a mass audience. They're just kind of
Absolutely.
doing their
Absolutely.
thing.
They're doing it their way. 100%. Um, who else is doing it their way? Who's doing it their way better than Sour? I love Sour.
True to their roots.
True to their roots, Scandinavian powerhouse. Gustav, we love.
Gustav.
We love
I
Simon.
liked it. Did you like his recent part?
I love the Gustav part. Loved
Yeah,
it.
dude,
It
it's so
wasn't,
good.
and it wasn't like banging you over the head. It was just Gustav doing what Gustav does best, being a swag lord, making you think, the thinking
Skating fun
man's,
little spots.
skating fun little spots, being just a god, being just one of the most talented skateboarders on planet Earth. But everything, like the videos they put out, the team cohesion vibe. Actually, you know what? They go over here. It's such a cohesive team. I love Tom Snape. I love Simon Isaksson. I love Nisse Ingemarsson. I love Scandinavia.
Their team is, and I always like their videos. Like their videos are they're long, can be long, but I've always watched the entire video and like enjoyed it from like start to finish.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm 100% with you right there. Sour can do no wrong in my eyes. Their boards kind of suck, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean their graphic is the only thing that kind of blows.
Yeah, but as a team, Sour is awesome, and I'm super stoked on Sour.
Likewise.
DGK,
DGK.
Dirty Ghetto Kids.
I didn't even know they were still a skate company.
Yeah, they're still doing it. I think Kalis is still on. I think Stevie is still involved in some capacity. The main guy that they have right now, though, their main heater is John Shanahan.
Oh, that's right. He's kind of like the embodiment of their era.
Yeah, he is DGK right now. There's Kevin Bilyeu as well, who's really good. Um, but shit, man, one guy does not a team make.
No,
We love John Shanahan.
but there can
Uh,
only be one Shanahan.
yeah, I think that they are kind of in this era
Yeah,
pretty irrelevant.
yeah,
But the Shanahan factor puts you up here.
yeah.
Um, and that's just what I think. Right there next to Zero. It wasn't there like a DGK Zero. There were a couple. They did a couple tours or something like that.
I can
Um.
see it.
Anyway, I think that's pretty fair. Welcome sucks.
Whack and irrelevant.
Welcome is completely smoked right now. I mean, it's the Nora show, and Nora hasn't put anything out in a while.
Zoomies pack special.
Yeah, Ryan Townley. I'm still a fan of Ryan Townley, but like, it's not doing him any favors to be on Welcome. Other than I'm sure it's paying his bills because of the Zoomies pack. But
I could see Ryan Townley on like Deathwish,
totally
or I could even see him on Sci-Fi.
interesting. Interesting. Should we talk about sci-fi?
We should.
Yeah, let's skip over Palace and talk about sci-fi real quick. Because what do you think about sci-fi?
I think I think they're relevant and they're still developing. So I
Yes,
don't know if they're like cracked or not. I
yes,
will say that I agree with you on the stance that I feel like the rollout for this video that they put out kind of like goes against the like I don't know what I thought was cool about the brand, which is like it was kind of this thing that you didn't. I mean, I think Edgelord is trying to do what Sci-Fi Fantasy did really well, which
mm,
is like you didn't really know what it was until it like started becoming a thing, and then Jerry decided it was a thing. I just
yeah,
think that like Jerry is inherently cool, and
yep,
Jerry has like been portrayed as someone who doesn't take things too seriously and kind of does his own thing. So like everybody's kind of waiting for Jerry to say this is a skate company. And then I think to like again, I know you have to promote your team and you're now running a business and things, so you want to put it out there, but it just was like I think the reception of the video and the hype that was already there surrounding the company would have had the same kind of result in terms of people enjoying it or showing up for the video. Uh, I don't know. That's just my take. And I like their team, and I think Joe on the team is sick, and I think Joe had one of the best parts in that video.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly had one of the parts of the video, and I thought it was some really good skating all throughout that video. And I agree with you, kind of what you're saying. Like in contrast to Edgelord, like it was a very organic thing. It wasn't like I feel like Edgelord was like on a whim. Let's put this together. Let's slap these guys together. I'll wave a bag in front of X amount of these guys who are kind of floating around. And Jerry did kind of the opposite of that. He's like, let me piecemeal just put on people that I like.
Hmm.
And he said it on the Nine Club, like, let me put on these underdog people who I feel like haven't really gotten a fair shake in the industry, like Glick, like Ryan Lay. Um, and I think it did really well. I hope that the popularity of the video translates to good business for them. I
Right.
think the product is cool, and I think Jerry is cool. I think Jerry is just, authentic legend in the game, deserves
And when
everything.
just to course correct myself, when I say that Jerry doesn't take things too seriously, I mean in the like the way that it's not like he's in a negative way not taking things seriously. I just think he's like always done things his way, and like then everybody says it's cool. Like the Thrasher cover is I think a perfect example of that, where he's like dark sliding in hiking boots. It's
Yes.
like anybody else doing that isn't getting a fucking Thrasher cover,
Yes.
like
No, I mean, he
just
is
because.
truly a lifer. Truly did so many amazing things in skating before all this, and like it's easy to forget about that because we're in this fast-paced
Mhm.
2025 thing. But shit, man, I don't know. I think Jerry deserves everything and more, and I think he put together a good team. Actually, you know what? I'd say the team gels. I know we're getting a little cluttered over here. The team gels really well. I think they deserve maybe to be further this way. I don't.
Right.
I don't think that they're the most relevant. Like I think maybe they sit somewhere in here, and I'll
Right.
send them to the back so you can sort of see it. Here, how about this? Sci-fi. Put them in here.
But I think it was cool because sci-fi like existed as a non-skate company also for a long time.
Right.
It like since skating. And
Right.
it was, and I think that's again a testament to what I'm saying about Jerry and his success versus like someone like Edgelord. And I think Blondie touched on that where he's like, you have a non-skater editing your footage, versus one of the most legendary skaters of our generation or previous or in history running your company, and he wasn't even trying to run a skate company to begin with. It's like this thing was already here, and now he has guys that he wants to make a part of it.
Jerry's been around the block. Like he
Yeah,
knows what works.
yeah,
Harmony Korine is one of the people that wants to buy their way into skateboarding, and it just never works that way. It never works that way.
good
Um,
take.
let's cap it off. Palace. I think Palace is relevant, but in this day and age, kind of whack. I think Palace is way past its prime. I think Palace Sonic was great. I think they still have a good team, but it doesn't gel like it used to. It doesn't, they got Phila on. I like that they put Jameer on. I like that. I think Jameer deserves flowers. But is Palace a great fit? I don't know. They're kind of dispersed all over the place as a team now.
And I think that style of filming that they've never changed from, it's stale already. I don't need to watch another video in that like grainy, GX style or whatever kind of camera it's filmed on.
I
I'm
don't
not
mind.
sure.
I don't mind the Betamax or like the.
You don't?
I don't mind the high eight footage. I don't.
Here's the reason I don't like it. Not that I don't like the aesthetic look of it. It's more about what you're saying about the skaters, where it's like the core team that came up with Palace were like you knew who those guys were as they were growing with the brand. Now the
Yeah.
brand is so established, and you don't really get to see the nuances of the new skaters and how they actually are and their style and the way that they skate because it's being filmed through that lens and it's being put out in that way that it all kind of looks similar to the way it's always been portrayed.
Yeah, it no longer fits that mold. Now, yeah, I think you're right. I think now with what they have, it would behoove them to switch up the messaging a little bit. But you know, I like Kyle Wilson. I love Lucas Puig. I think that's a great heritage pick. I just think they're too dispersed. It's not, you know, it's a glorified hype clothing brand at this point, which is sad because it used to be a really sick force in skating.
Yeah.
Like Palisonic is still one of my favorite videos. I think it's a masterpiece. The Lucian part where he's skating the Vicky benches and the Apples in Stereo song. Oh,
Yeah, the music they were skating when that video came out, the music they were skating to
the
was
music
like
was
pretty
so
fresh.
good.
It was so good. It was
so
like
good, pushing the envelope.
right.
Yeah, a bit of a fall from grace there, but shit, man, look at it. We finished the Matrix. I think this is a good spread. You know,
I do too. I mean, look at it. We're well balanced.
yeah, we got a good distribution. I would say we're given more love than hate. It's a little bit more sparse on the left, but and it's not hate. It's just so we just want to see these people do better.
Right. If you don't, it's like getting feedback or critique. It's you can take it one way and close your way of thinking and keep on trucking along, or you can be open-minded and maybe make a change and have it be positive on the other side. Or you can make that change and it be negative, but that's life. You have to make decisions and roll with it.
Yeah, man. Totally. Totally. Well, shit. Thanks for coming. I think it was a fun discussion. This is going to be a long one. So if you stuck with us this long, shout out to you. We love you. Thanks, Willie.
All love to Vasily too. And again, I always like coming on. I would do this anyway, come and chat with you during the middle of the day and talk
Yeah,
skating. But
exactly.
I really enjoy this time that we get to hang out and spend together, and it means a lot to me. And I also in terms of like getting back into skating and getting resparked on skating, I feel like I as you get older, but like as I've gotten older, you get busier, you get more commitments and things to do, and especially not being on social media, it's being shoved in your face. It's like definitely nice to be able to plug back into skating, especially with somebody who is covering it in the way that you are and being the person that you are. So,
Oh shit, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Those are kind words, but yeah, I mean, listen. It wouldn't be what it is without people like you and the good Fusilionaires who support us. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody who fucks with the channel. We love you. That's it. Peace.
see you next time.